out of San Francisco, where all the illegals come to work. Gang killers from the dangerous, notorious, horrendous MS-13 gang have been arrested, and 30 is being sought in the slaying of a 21-year-old Hispanic student simply because he wore a red hat. Okay? Thank you, Schumer. Thanks for bringing them in. Take a look at the picture from the London Daily Mail. Take a look at the T-shirts that Barack Obama's eldest daughter wore to the G8 summit. It's enough to make you wonder. I mean, let's lay it on the line here. Is it appropriate for her to wear T-shirts to a G8 summit? It's astounding that they get away with this and the media looks the other way. To me, the king has no clothes, right? Well, okay, in this case, they have no clothes. Akron, Ohio. Black teen mob attacks a white family screaming, "This is our world and this is a black world," as they confronted the white family and beat them up. Did it make it to your local paper? Another race story from the blogs. New York legislators fire 200 workers, all white, and replace them with a large number of minority employees, many of whom were seen by fellow workers to be unskilled. Isn't diversity grand? All on michaelsavage.com. Read it and weep. So there we are. You want to talk about movies? There's nothing in the movies. There's nothing as good as that movie. What was the name of the movie again? I threw it out. Mildred Pierce. Mildred Pierce. Mildred Pierce. Mildred Pierce. I say Mildred Pierce, the movie. Mildred Pierce, I think of pierced ears, then pierced noses, pierced bodily orifices in America. Who knew that William Faulkner wrote Mildred Pierce? Warner Brothers feature Joan Crawford, Ann Blythe, Jack Carson, Zachary Scott, and Eve Arden in a Norse tale about a sacrificing mother and an ungrateful daughter. Unbelievable lighting. I don't know who the lighting man was. Screenplay was by Reynold McDougall. William Faulkner. How the heck did Faulkner? He went to Hollywood and did movies, a guy like Faulkner? Mildred Pierce was Crawford's first film. Well, she did Mommy Dearest later on. She was actually beautiful in 1945. Later on, because they had no Botox then, there was no Barbara Boxer-like cosmetics and no Nancy Pelosi-like surgical procedures. She was really, she did become a nightmare like Mommy Dearest. You know, really, I mean, if they had the Botox that Nancy Pelosi uses apparently today, I think that Barbara Stanwyck would still be in the movies. She could still be in the movies 100 years later with the touch-ups. Mark in Los Angeles, welcome to the Savage Nation.
I had a grandmother that cooked for us, and if you say you didn't want any more, she'd say, take it. She'd throw the food on your plate. You had to eat your way out.
That's correct. But, you know, women in that, and it wasn't just Jewish, it was Italian, it was Greek, I don't care what the Mediterranean ethnic background was, they all stuffed the men, and it was out of fear of men. It wasn't out of any love. You know that's true.
She'd grind the potato pancakes by hand. God, they didn't have the grinders like they have today. But I wanted to talk to you about the... grind. You see, you triggered another thought. Grinder. You say grinder? I think of three things. The Grinder's Groove Yard, grinding in the finished basements in Queens to bump and grind music, and then the grinder in Moshe's butcher shop, because my aunt was suspicious and didn't trust him because he was a crook. She'd go and pick a steak out and say, grind it up and make it into chopped meat. Don't worry, I'll do it. He'd go in the freezer. She'd go in with him because she knew he'd substitute the steak for bad meat. I can't even look at tuna fish now without thinking about Big Al now. It reminds me of this hamburger.
No, you can't. What? You can't look at tuna without thinking of who?
Big Al, the disarmament.
The arm. Even the tuna today is different. It tastes different. I don't know what happened to the oceans. The tuna doesn't taste like tuna fish anymore. What's on your mind, Mark?
I wanted to talk. The other day you were talking about animal intelligence and also about the dietary laws of the Jews. And I read about a theory about why the Jews cannot eat pork.
Why?
It goes back to the time when the Hebrews were in Egypt. And if you look at some of the writings, the hieroglyphics at the time, which was, I guess, the pig was considered a sacred animal because the female pig, when it was pregnant with all the teats on it, would be walked through the fields because they thought that was the reason that the fields would be fertile. So you couldn't eat this animal. It's a sacred animal. And the Jews, the Hebrews at the time, they adopted the religions of anybody who conquered them.
What a loss. Look at all the Canadian bacon they missed.
They're worshiping animals.
All right, look, there's a lot of religious laws that make sense and a lot that don't. A lot of it is mythology, and some of it is primal and primitive. Makes no sense anymore. With refrigeration, there's no reason you can't eat a pig if you like it. If you don't want to eat it, and you think you're going to go to heaven because of it, good luck to you. There's more for us. But now with swine flu today, who knows where they're going to go with the whole pig thing. They're blaming it on the poor pig. But that's neither here nor there. Look, there's a lot of other animals you can't eat. The ostrich for no reason. Why is the ostrich on it? Why, because the Jews of the Sanhedrin and the temple wanted them for feathers? I don't know. Why would the ostrich not be on it? If the claw points to Jerusalem when the moon is high, but does not point to Yemen when the moon is low, you shall not eat it. I mean, some of it doesn't make sense to me. If you look at the Bible, which I have in my hand, I have the food. Here, wait. Here it is. I did this once. It's very funny. I go, these are living things which you shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is wholly clove-footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts, you may eat. I don't know what that means. How would I know which animal parted a hoof and ate the cud? If I go to Safeway to buy myself some food for the night, and I like to shop, and it's in plastic, do I know if that meat is cloven-footed and cheweth the cud or not? It may as well say made from Neanderthal meat. I wouldn't know where it came from. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that only chew the cud, or of them that only part of the hoof. The camel, because he cheweth the cud, but parteth not the hoof. He is unclean unto you. Well, that gives him a life sentence. That was a close one. And the rock badger, because I'm not going to look at any rock badger, high in cholesterol.
Michael Savage. Afternoons 3 to 7 on Talk 910 KNEW and online at 910KNEW.com.